Hello everyone and welcome to the very first edition of Kick It to Scoops, second edition of Kick It to Scoops.
Hello everyone and welcome to a very special edition of Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host Cooper Gretch.
Cooper Gretch here. I'm your host Cooper Gretch. It's a very loaded show for you guys today.
Second game.
Not good enough. My team of the week.
Tell me a bit about yourself. Just fill me in quickly.
Good, yeah.
No worries, thanks for having us, Cooper. Appreciate it.
Best time with 4 goals and over 28 disposals.
Hello everyone and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host Cooper Gretch, the sole aim of AFL information, trade rumours and results. A very loaded show for you guys today. We've got the world famous segment Scoops Goes Bang. 3 topics to rant on about, including the Essendon treatment of Ben Rutten being let go as coach, the debacle it is at Essendon trying to find a new coach, a new president, David Barham, the former president, Paul Brasher. There's a whole lot of drama at Essendon at the moment. They missed on Clarko. We'll get to Clarkson. Alistair Clarkson's the new coach of the Roos for 5 years, which I did a little video on the day it was announced last Friday. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. So you're going to bang on about Essendon's treatment of Ben Rutten, Dane Zorko's pathetic comments towards Harrison Petty and his family members. I'm obviously not going to go through what he said, but if what is being said is true, I'll give you my thoughts on what Dane Zorko should do in the AFL. Should lose the captaincy for starters, but we'll get to that in a second. And St Kilda, not cheering off Dean Cairn. Paddy Ryder didn't play, got cheered off, fair enough. So did Dan Hanbury. But why not Dean Cairn? He was part of the clapping brigade. Why? He's retired on 100 games too. Why isn't he cheered off? Very, very odd. We'll get to that too. Now, the other topics, some of the topics will be gone, but I will be revealing my returning. I used to do a rolling, or I was always doing a rolling Australian team for the last 4 weeks or so. Well, now it is back. It'll be the time on this episode today to reveal my 2022 Scoops AFL All-Australian team. I want to go through the All-Australian squad of 44 selected by the selection panel. That's not including me. He's got Kane Collins on it. Nick Rui's on it. And Gil McLaughlin and some others as well. I'll go through that. A Supercoach talk. The Supercoach talk, I'm just basically say my final score and ranking, my overall thoughts, who plays a may or may not get. I'm going to review the round 23 games that's gone. I'm going to talk about the finals. I'm not necessarily do a tipping right now, or may re-update it next week. And yeah, my Scoops medal. Obviously now I was meant to air last night, my Kick It Scoops episode, but for personal reasons I could not. So I'm thinking about doing the Scoops medal Thursday night at 7 p.m. So we'll see how that is. I'll make a Facebook post about that, so don't worry about that. But yes, we'll start off with this. You want me on Cameo? Head to cameo.com/Cooper G merch. There's new t-shirts on there. There's stubby hoppers, there's stickers, there's hats. There's a few stickers remaining and a few hats remaining. So go and get yours today. I'll greatly appreciate you purchase any merch if you can. Appreciate the ongoing support. I want to have 20 likes for this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on the bell for all notifications. What are you doing? If you're not turning it on, what are you doing? Why don't you turn the bell on? You want to watch me and you may forget it. Whoa, turn on that bell for all notifications. Now, let's get down to business. Actually, before I do that, the top 8. Obviously, the Bulldogs snuck in by 0.6%. Carlton losing by a point to the Pies. Jamie Elliott breaking hearts of Bomber fans this year. Now he's done it to Carlton fans as well. A minute and a half to go. Jamie Elliott in beast mode, clutch mode, if you will. He's going on the accelerators. As Jamie Elliott, who got a 3-year deal a few weeks ago too, by the way, if you didn't know that. And Jamie, yes. Now let's start. And Bev, you're up and about, my friend, aren't you? Bev is up and about, jumping up and down. He's so excited. Bev, you're playing the Dockers, who shall give you the old heave-ho in Perth. Saturday week. So, wait and see. Anyway, now let's start off with the world-famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang! Oh, Essendon. The treatment of Ben Rutten has been utterly ridiculous. Alistair Clarkson, they tried getting last Monday, and they're 3 to 4 days. Clarko said in the end, it wasn't enough time. It was 3 or 4 weeks in with GWS and North Melbourne. Decided on North Melbourne purely because GWS didn't want to relocate the family. They got family members in Sydney, in Brisbane, I think he said, and in Melbourne. He didn't want to really add a fourth state, technically, or, stuff about the family stuff. So that was the reason why he chose North over GWS. And Essendon were never in consideration because of how deep in conversations he was with the Giants and the Roos. So ultimately he chose the Roos for 5 years. Now, Essendon's treatment of Ben Rutten was absolutely garbage. I'm sure all Bombers fans can agree on this, and wider fans, that treatment of Ben Rutten was utterly ridiculous. Why didn't you just sack him on the spot? Were you so nervous that you wanted to get Clarko and to come back to bite you in the ass because you didn't get Clarko? And then, you didn't get him, and you treated your current coach at the time like shit in the process. And you didn't tell him till the day after. Not good enough. It's not. I like the wording that David Brasher did use, though. They want an experienced coach, and that's probably what they need. Not these untried coaches. By the way, congratulations to Adam Kingsley, the former St Kilda assistant of 8 years in the last 3 years at Richmond. He's got the GWS coaching job. Congrats to Adam Kingsley on a 3-year deal. But yeah, they want an experienced coach to do the Bombers, says David Brasher, their new president, who talks he should be out of it soon already, after just getting it last week. Is it Leon Cameron? Is it Ken Hinkley? Koshy shut down Koshy shut down the rooms of Hinkley. Fair enough too. He's been linked to every job in North Melbourne, GWS, and now they're starting the Essendon brigade with Ken, after him confirming multiple times in the club that he's not leaving. But it's an interesting one. If he got off for 5 years, who knows? By Essendon, that is, for Ken. But yeah, do they go Ross Lyon? The talk of James Hird is... that would sum up Essendon's last 20 years. An utter disgrace. Imagine the debacle that they treated Ben Rutten like crap. Tried to poach Clarko. Failed with that. Then to bring back the coach that was a part of the drug saga. Could you not get any worse? Essendon fans, what the hell are you think? What would you be thinking? What are your hierarchy think? The board, Kevin Sheedy and co. Kevin Sheedy's comments about Clarko should go to North and about Tassie was ridiculous as well. It's a mess at Essendon. Dyson Hample will probably leave, go to the Gold Coast to wait and see. And even if he stays, it's still a mess. The players are frustrated. Does Zach Merritt want to leave despite signing a big contract last year? It's a mess. The players aren't liking it. They don't like the treatment of Rutten, fair enough too. It's a mess. It's a mess, and the mess is still there since the drug saga. It is an absolute disgrace. And to top that off, they haven't won a final in over 6,000 plus days. Gee, you're lucky you don't back for the Bombers right now. To the way Essendon treated Ben Rutten, lift your game. To the people of Essendon that treated Rutten like crap, lift your game. Now, speaking of treating people like crap, there's pretty much the next two things are the same thing, treating people like crap. Saint, Dean Ken, retired game 100 and out for Dino. Started his career opposite the Demons and then came to the Saints the last 4 years. Serviceable player. I think we could tell he was kind of going to be delisted if he didn't retire. But nonetheless, he played in round one. Had some injuries throughout the whole way. Was in the VFL for the last 8 weeks or so. Finally got his farewell game at Marvel against the Swans. Great to see. But what wasn't great to see was when Hannah's, who I'll get to in the game review, and Paddy Ryder got cheered off. Fair enough. Geary retired mid-season, didn't get cheered off either. Bit interesting. But that was a while ago, so you can kind of understand it. And plus I think Geary got a lap of honour during the games a few weeks ago anyway. So I can kind of understand that one. But Dean Kent, he retired, technically. So why didn't he get a cheer off as well, send off? Like Paddy Ryder and Hannah's got. Nice to see St Kilda playing their favourites. You can tell when they speak about certain players and not about others. The way they treated Dean Campbell was pathetic. And if Dean did not, if he did not want to be carried off, then fair enough. But if he did, or he wasn't given a choice, just shows the mess between certain St Kilda people, including that coach, Brett Ratton. They got things to be answering for. Nathan Bassett, the president, is pissed off with doing internal reviews. It's good. Get rid of Brett Ratton. They won't, but they should. Why did they rush? I still do not understand why. Lift your game. Pathetic. Now, with Dane Zorko and Harrison Petty. Now, Harrison Petty was seen very upset / crying in a way, or tearing up at 3/4 time. Because, how do I put it? Don't want to say exactly what it was. He's basically talking about a family member of Harrison Petty's and saying very cruel things about them. And fair enough that Petty was upset. But Dane Zorko should be embarrassed of himself. Yeah, he's a shit stirrer on the footy field, but there's a line you don't cross, and the line that Dane Zorko did cross, yeah, trust me, if this was Toby Green, people would be calling for the fucking death sentence on him. So Dane Zorko should be embarrassed. He's been apologised, of course, because he had to. I'm surprised Melbourne have accepted the punishment. The AFL have done nothing. It's not acceptable. Now, I've said for numerous times about myself that people death threaten me and shit like that. It is not on. It is pathetic. Dane Zorko may be a good player. He's not a great captain. He's not a great leader. He should be dropped. I don't give a shit how he's played. In fact, he's played garbage for starters. He should not be the captain no more. And he should be fined a significant amount. I mean, not 5,000, that's not enough. I mean, 50+ thousand. And suspended for a few games and stripped of the captaincy. Make a statement, Brisbane. Come on. It's not good enough. Dane Zorko, lift your game. It's pathetic. It is pathetic. The AFL, you ain't getting scot-free in this either. How did just case closed? Seriously? Case closed? How about you reopen the case and actually do something for once and fucking make a statement? Suspend him yourself if Brisbane won't. Weak. Lift your game, AFL and Dane Zorko. Pathetic. Hope you guys enjoyed that edition of the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Now, the next topic we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about round 23 and the games in round 23. It was an interesting round. It was down to basically the last game with the top four mechanisms and everything like that. But actually, before I do that, I want to go through the finals matchups. So, for people wondering, Thursday, September 1st, 7:20 Victorian time at the Gabba. It is Brisbane hosting Richmond. Friday, September 2nd, 7:50 Melbourne time at the MCG. Melbourne hosting the Swans. Saturday, twilight, 4:35 at the MCG. Saturday, September 3rd, Geelong v Collingwood. And 8:10 Victorian time, 6:10 Perth time. It's the Dockers hosting the Bulldogs, 8:10 Victorian time, Saturday, September 3rd. Now, I'll go through that in a bit more detail soon. But you're going to review, that's the finals matchups. So the Saints and Carlton. Carlton missed out by 0.6%. The Saints missed out by a game. Disappointing. But, all the way back on Friday night was the Lions and the Demons. The Lions were pathetic. Melbourne were too good. Far too good. They destroyed the Lions. The roaring did not happen from the Lions. 57 and 115. Melbourne by 58 points. Fritsch, 4. Oliver was good. There's a few other players that were really good for them. Just very dominant for Melbourne. Angus Brayshaw, that's right. That was another one. Saturday, GWS and Freo. 20-point victory to the Giants. 20-point victory. The Giants should have won. They were in front by 5 goals at one point. A really good three-quarter performance from the Giants, but the Dockers came away late in the third and the last to get in front, and then they get a few junk time goals to make it 20 points. 20-point victory. Will Brodie was their best. Josh Kelly was good. Callum Ward, solid as well. Angus Brayshaw did okay. Andy Brayshaw, sorry, did okay. They wish they had Angus Brayshaw now. Hayden Young, Heath Chapman, good young plays at the half-back line. Walters played his milestone game, kicked a couple. I wouldn't be too thrilled if I was at Dockers. I'm more happy with the Giants. And Adam Kingsley is their new coach for the next 3 seasons. So he's had a long apprenticeship like Craig McRae had 8 years as assistant coach at St Kilda, and he was assistant coach prior to that elsewhere, or in other roles of football clubs before St Kilda for 8 years. Then he was at the Richmond Footy Club for 3 years and will commence until their finals is over, Richmond's. Hopefully in the first week of finals. Okay. Calm down, Richmond fans. Only a joke. Take the joke. Adam Kingsley will take the reins from the Giants once Richmond's finals campaign is over. Congratulations, Adam Kingsley. North Melbourne, Gold Coast. North Melbourne 47. Gold Coast 114. Gold Coast for 67 points. Great display from the Suns. Toik Miller was awesome. Alex Sexton, the forgotten man. 6 goals. Completely underrated Alex Sexton. Played a few games early in the year. Sub in one of those or 2 of those. I wasn't seen again until the last round. Kicked 6. With the news just come out that Isaac Rankin has requested a trade to the Adelaide Crows. Alex Sexton can just replace Rankin. I know he's older, but that doesn't matter. Sexton is more than capable. Was their leading goal kicker in a few seasons ago as well, so he's more than capable. Is Alex Sexton? He proved that on the weekend, kicking 6. He will now go play in the VFL finals for the Suns. Good luck to the Suns in the VFL finals. For people that said that Clark had been announced a day prior, I heard some dumb people say dumb things. Normally dumb people say dumb things against you, fool. Gee, I made a dumb comment there, but I'm not dumb. Just made a dumb comment. But seriously though, people were starting to tip north. Some of the wording I heard from some people on radio and other places and online, is people going, they got Clarko, now they'll win. What the does that have to do with anything? Lee Adams was still the coach. The playing links were still the same. They were the same team they were the week prior. I know they had 6 changes, but that's not the point. They were the same group of players as they've had all year. What the hell's an announcement of a new coach that wasn't coaching that game and having no involvement in that game? What the hell has that got to do with anything? Gold Coast were always going to win if Lee Adams, David Noble, Clarko. It does not matter. Suns won easily, and they dominated. Miller, Anderson, Sexton, probably the 3 best players for the Suns. Geelong did what they had to do against the Eagles, 131-46. Geelong by 85 points. No surprise there. West Coast in a big change of the Eagles. They need more ruckman. I know Nat Nui's there, but he's injury prone. Bailey Williams and co. are not answers. They need a genuine ruck. They had one Tom Mickey and let him go. Amazing. Dumb. And look how he's going for the Swans. Pretty good now. The same as St Kilda when they let Hickey go. Dumb. 4th club at the Swans is Tom Hickey. Essendon, Richmond. This is Ben Runn's last game as coach. Essendon 75, Richmond 141. Richmond by 66. Too dominant again. Tom Lynch was good. Shai Bolton kicked 2-5. He's got the Max King yips. But King kicked 5 straight on the weekend. Proud of you, Max. Presti was good as well. Noah Cumberland's been an underrated player. He's not going to be a high possession getter. I'd compare him to Bailey Fritsch. They sneak up with maybe 10 possessions a game, but kick 3 goals a game, and if you're pretty impressed, Noah Cumberland. Richmond have actually some good young players. Oh boy, that's a first. Noah Cumberland is one. And he had that ACL injuries last few years, so amazing to see him come back and do well. Noah. He got the Rising Star nomination a few rounds ago. Nathan O'Driscoll from the Dockers, by the way, got the round 23 one. Zach Merritt was good for the Bombers, and that was it. Peter Wright wasn't... He's had a great year, Peter Wright. 2-metre Peter. But this game he didn't do as much. Neither did the whole team, unless you're Zach Merritt. Now, the showdown in Robbie Gray's final game. Port Adelaide 111. Smashed the Crows 55. Port by 56 points. Farewell for Robbie Gray. Kicked a few in his last game. Matty Crouch will leave for the Crows. Carl Amon has announced, see all this is coming to me when I'm talking about these clubs. Carl Amon is now officially requested a trade through free agency. More than likely, it's one of the Hawks or the Saints. I'm fingers crossed with the Saints. It'd be good on the wing with Mason Ward or D-Mac. Would Carl Amon. They also delisted 3 players quite late. Sam Snow, Sam Mays, Sam Skinner, and Taj Schofield. Wish those three all the best. Sam Mays was highly underrated, I thought, at Power. Did a few roles for them. Was a sub a few times, even this year, and done really well. So I'm not surprised they got rid of him, but I wouldn't have been against them keeping him. He's a solid player, depth player at least, Sam Mays, and dominates the sample. But yeah, Robbie Gray in his milestone game, congratulations to him. Carl Amon, speaking of Carl Amon, kicked a goal in 31 in his last game for the Power, was really good. Wines was great. Pal Peppers had a great year. Charlie Dixon and Finlayson. You know, I've more come to the custom of them having Finlayson and Dixon as their ruck duo. They're not winning a lot of the hitouts, but they're both playing much better. Finlayson looked like Jason Dunstall last week against Essendon. Finlayson's had a great year, as has Dixon. When they both lead as a backup ruck, was interesting. Tom Marshall kicked 4. He had a great year, did Tom Marshall. So kudos to him. For the Crows, as I said earlier, there wasn't really good contributors at all, but they get Iso Rankin from the start of the next season. Sunday, Hawks and Bulldogs 64-87. Bulldogs were 23. Doggies were barking, as Bev would say. They did really well. James Sicily did well. Big boy McAvoy kicked a few goals in his farewell gang line. Big boy McAvoy. Bulldogs, they just got the job done. Sam Darcy kicked his first career goal in the game. Kicked 2 for the game. Played up forward. Brucey played up the back line. Shows the mess they got in their back line when Brucey's going back to the back line. Like Brucey's a forward. They moved Darcy back forward because he wasn't really working as a backman. They got the win. Close game, though. Hawthorn were up or just down by a few points at halftime. So they were in this game the whole way through. Bulldogs get a few late goals, and unfortunately for the Hawks, they didn't end with a win for big boy McAvoy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. The Pies and the Blues. Blues choked a 5-goal lead again, and Jamie Elliott is breaking hearts of all Carlton fans right now, who are probably still upset from a few days ago. Absolutely devastating. They would be absolutely devastated, those Blues fans. And the scenes, too, of people fighting was pathetic. The people involved in that stuff should be embarrassing themselves, really. Pathetic. People these days, this is why people don't like the footy, because of the violence. Some people's shows pathetic. Carlton 74, defeated by the Pies 75. Jamie Elliott was the match-winning goal. Collingwood by a point. Craig McRae's doing a great job. Coach of the year. Don't say otherwise. Clearly, he's coach of the year. The Pies in the top 4 after that kick from Elliott. With the Dockers winning and the Swans winning, the Pies stayed in the 4. Brisbane dropped out. Melbourne winning as well, and Geelong, but they didn't move anyway. They couldn't move. Yeah. Petty Chris was their best player. Collingwood, Josh Dacos was pretty good as well. Just an all-round great performance for the Pies, and the win that got them in the 4 and they faced Geelong in a week and a bit's time. Great win for the Pies and the Saints. And the Swans, St Kilda 74, defeated by the Swans 88, Sydney by 14. Saints got to about 25 odd down in the second quarter, early third. To the credit, the boys came back in Dan Hanbury's last game. Dan Hanbury, I think, was best on ground, honestly. 30 possessions in his last game, high clearances, high efficiency, decent meters gains, tackles as well. Hannah's had a great career at the Swans and the Saints. It's very fitting, too. Incidentally, he played against his old side. When a few Swan boys retired, Heath Grundy and Jared McVeigh, Hannah's chaired them off at the SCG in the round 23 a year or two ago, and now they done the favours back. Well, not Heath Grundy and McVeigh, they were both there at the game. Joey Kennan from the Swans is retiring in the season. PK chaired off Hannah's with Jack Steele, the man of Steel, and Paddy Roy got chaired off by Dougal Howard and Cope. So, yeah, it was great scenes at the end to see him get chaired off. Wish Dean Kent was a part of that, but anyway. But yeah, I thought Hannah's was great. I thought Jack Steele was solid. Maxi King was awesome, kicking 5 goals. Did I say it? 5 goals he kicked. He was great. Yeah, it was a great performance from Max King on Dane Rampy, who's a great defender. So, yeah, disappointing for the Saints in the end, though, because they didn't get the win. They had a chance at the end. It just didn't go their way. fortunately. But the Swans, Isaac Heaney was their best player. Now, what are we going to go through next, guys? We're going to go through my Supercoach talk. Basically, just to say what I scored for the round and what my final ranking was. I scored 2,400 on the dot. I was in no finals this year, unfortunately. First time ever. Top 15% overall. But yeah, the changes I want to make next year is basically, I didn't do anything wrong. I did a different strategy this year. Worked at the start when I ran the round 5 team of the week on the 2K. Yeah, boy. But it was just injuries and ruck duo problems. And Rowan Marshall, Gawn, Grundy, Jack Hayes, Sam Hayes. Oh, it's just a nightmare. Brian Teakle, Tim English. Yeah, it was just a mess. Ruck injuries, probably something I'm missing. The other ones I can think of, top of my head, there may have been more. Probably wasn't. I have Riley O'Brien at one point as well. Or still do. Or still did have him. It was just a bloody mess. The ruck duo, that wasted my trades. I reckon that's what cost me. I think the strategy was great. And forced moves in those areas weren't helping me to trade people in the forward line. They were just doing okay, like Heaney's and Lipinski's and co. But yeah, that's how it went, unfortunately. So hopefully for next year, just no injuries would be great, everybody. Thank you very much. Now, I'm going to talk about the final series. I'm going to go through those games again. The Western Bulldogs and Freo, Geelong, Collingwood, Melbourne and Sydney. And of course, Brisbane and Richmond. We'll start off with that Thursday, September 1st, 7:20 at the Gabba, Victorian time, 7:20. Brisbane, Richmond. I'm not going to give a full detailed answer so far, but I'm going for Brisbane, just because they're at home. Melbourne and Sydney, 7:50 MCG, Friday, September 3rd. Oh, by the way, that's an elimination final, the Brisbane-Richmond game, so Richmond would be gone. Friday, September 2nd, 7:50 Vic time at the G, Melbourne, Sydney. I'll go the Swans. Saturday, twilight, September 3rd, 4:35 at the G, Vic time, Geelong, Collingwood. I'll go the Pies. 8:10 Perth, in Perth, 6:10 Perth times, 8:10 Victorian time. The Dockers hosting the Bulldogs at Optus Stadium. I'm going the Dockers to give the Bulldogs the old heave-ho. Now, it is time for Scoops'... let me start that again. It is time for Scoops' 2022 AFL All-Australian team. Okay, Scoops' 2022 AFL All-Australian team. From the back line, the back pockets, Sam Doherty and Cal Wilkie. Full back, Sam Taylor. Half back line, the flankers, Jack Sinclair and Nick Dacos. Centre half back, James Sicily. Wingers, Josh Kelly and Rory Laird. Centreman, Lockie Neal. Half forward line, the flankers, Will Brodie and Toik Miller. Centre half forward, Jeremy Cameron. Forward pockets, Charlie Cameron and Tyson Stengel. Full forward, the Coleman Medal winner, Charlie Curnow. Ruckman, Jared Witts. Rovers, Andrew Brayshaw and Clayton Oliver. Interchange, Sam Walsh, Chad Warner, Connor Rosie, and Brad Crouch. Now, people say, what about, reasons? And people are going to say Gawn, no, Witts was better. And people are going to start telling me in the comment section, I'm sure, these guys didn't get in the squad of 44. Or they didn't make the squad of 44, so how can you have them? So people like Doherty, Nick Dacos, Will Brodie, and Brad Crouch. People are going to say, well, those are the players you had in your team, and they didn't make the All-Australian squad of 44, which we'll get to in a second. It's my team, you realise that, right? I don't have to go off the AFL squad of 44 when their selectors, Kane Corns, Nick Rewald and co went, and Gill and co did. No, I don't. And Cameron Ling, I did mine, and this is what I think. Reasons, though, for some that may debate, Cal Wilkie was a lockdown, great first half of the year, was reasonable in the second half, so he stayed in. Sam Taylor's the best key defender this year. Doherty, Sinclair, and Dacos best three flankers. No, Dan Rioli, no. Just no. Josh Kelly's a pure winger, which people will love, and people say, Rory, come on, Coops, he's not a winger. I understand that, but Josh Kelly was a dominant winger, and that was probably it. No Red Langdon, no. Still, all these players that I'm saying they're not in, that doesn't mean they didn't do well. I feel like the ones I put in did better. Will Brodie, who didn't get in the squad, is a crime in itself. Great recruit from the Suns. Played every game, Will Brodie, and deserved a spot in the squad at bare minimum. I've got him on my ground. He was that good, Will Brodie. Troy Miller, well, he could win the Brownlow. So, Jeremy Cameron, best two key forwards for him and Charlie Curnow. Jeremy Cameron a lot of big possession games as well with his goals. Hence why he's in. Cameron, I was debating, not really, but there wasn't many other options. And Tyson Stengel was the best small forward this year, so he was in. And people are going to say Crouchy. How could you have Crouch? He said one of his best seasons in his career. Probably even better than the one where he won the BNF for the Crows. Averaging 28 disposals this year, a lot of contested possessions, a lot of tackles. Before he was suspension, he was in the top 3, I think, in the tackle count with Rory Laird and Sam Berry. And still he was there on average too. So, like, a great year. It was important in games. And it's completely underrated, Brad Crouch's season. I know people are going to be shitting on me going, that's a St Kilda player in their course. He had a great year. So, why not? And Chad Warner had probably the best young player in the comp with Rosie and Andy Brayshaw, and Nick Dacos. So, yeah, it's self-explanatory picks there for me. I know the people say, oh, why? But, yeah, that's what I've done. Now, leave your thoughts down below. Now, I've also forgotten, I haven't even done this. Let's now go through my round 23 AFL Team of the Week. From the back line, the pockets, Shannon Hearn and Lewis Young. Fullback, Sam Taylor. Half back line, Ben Long and James Sicily. Centre half back, Darcy Moore. Wingers, Connor Rosie and Zach Merritt. Centreman, Ollie Wines. Half forward line, Isaac Heaney. Isaac Heaney and Tom Lynch. Centre half forward, Tom Hawkins. Forward pockets, Bailey Fritsch and Alex Sexton. Full forward, Max King. Ruckman. Oh boy. Oops. Yours surely did not put in a Ruckman. Rovers, Caleb Sarong and David Swallow. I'll attach a Ruckman in this video. Interchange. Clayton Oliver. I'm getting thrown off now. Rovers, Caleb Sarong and David Swallow. Interchange. Clayton Oliver, Will Brodie, Carl Amon and the retiring Dan Hanbury. Well done, Hannahs. Emergencies, Todd Marshall, Jack Gunston, Patrick Cripps and Tyson Stengel. Now, just one reason people are going to say, how can you know Paddy Cripps? He was good. So was Will Brodie, Carl Amon and Hannahs took his spot. It was great. Don't get me wrong, but the other three were great also. Leave your thoughts down below. Now, I'm going to go through the All-Australian squad of 44 announced by Kane Corns, Nick Rewalt, Cameron Ling, Gillon McLaughlin and co. Now, the squad of 44, which you can see on your screen, says, or if you're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, I'll read this out for you. The All-Australian squad of 44 is as follows. The reason apparently Tom Brown said it was not 40, it was 44, is for the few quote-unquote unlucky players, or people are still going to debate it. Whether it's 44, 74, 94, 104, doesn't matter. Now, there's two clubs that weren't represented in this, and that was Essendon and North Melbourne. Yes, Essendon and North Melbourne. All right, so the squad of 44. Adelaide Crows, Rory Laird and Taylor Walker. Taylor Walker had a great year and would have probably won the Coleman had he not been suspended for the first 4 weeks of the season. Rory Laird, Taylor Walker. Brisbane, Charlie Cameron, Hugh McCluggage, Lockie Neal. Carlton, Paddy Cripps, Charlie Curnow, Adam Sard, Sam Walsh and Jacob Wiedering. Collingwood, Jack Crisp, Josh Dacos, Braden Maynard. Interesting. Essendon, this is a no one. Freo, Andy Brayshaw and Brennan Cox. Geelong, Mark Blixarves, Jeremy Cameron, Tom Hawkins, Tyson Stengel and Tom Stewart. Gold Coast, Troy Miller and Jared Witts, good. GWS, Josh Kelly, Sam Taylor, good. Hawthorn, James Sicily, good. Melbourne, Angus Brayshaw, Bailey Fritsch, Max Gorn, Stephen May, Christian Petrarca, and Clayton Oliver. North Melbourne, no one. Adelaide, Connor Rosie, and that's it. Richmond, Shai Bolton, Tom Lynch, Daniel Rioli. St Kilda, Jack Sinclair and Cal Wilkie, good. No Max King in the squad. Sydney, Isaac Heaney, Cal Mills, Tom Papley, and Chad Warner. West Coast, Tom Barras. And for the Western Bulldogs, that was for West Coast, just Tom Barras. For the Western Bulldogs, Jack McRae and Marcus Bonampelli. Wow. For a player that averaged 21 disposals as a mid, I know he played forward a bit, in the squad, just shows your bias, AFL people, selectors. Pathetic. People say Nick Dacos, yeah, he should have been in. And the players that I had in my squad that I mentioned in my All-Australian team, I'm like, well, Brody Crouch, how did those guys not even get the squad is just, ridiculous in my eyes. Jeez. Anyway, that is the squad of 44. Leave your thoughts down below with that. Not my squad of 44, it's the AFL's squad of 44. My final thoughts are simply this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Merch is on the website, cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, anything, congratulations on an engagement, fantasy final, Supercoach final, whatever it is. You know what to do. Hit me up on cameo.com/Cooper G. Appreciate it to you all, or to the loyal fans that are listening and tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Go on my Facebook page, AFL Information, Trade Rumours and Results, and Instagram, AFL Info Live. Appreciate you all. Until next time, have a great one, everyone. And most important thing of all to remember is Scoops Medal, Thursday night, 7 p.m. Till then, have a great one, guys, and go the Saints. Well, yeah, go the Saints, but come on, next year, Saints. And acknowledge me, the one.